What's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be slightly different. If you already have a SeaDoo and you've been riding for years, this is not going to be the video for you. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to do to launch your ski, ride successfully, come back, and retrieve it all by yourself. I understand this is a very basic video, but of course there's also a lot of new riders out there that have never done this before, or they're just nervous and they want some guidance on what to do. So this is going to be the video for you. Now, it's actually a lot easier than you think. Realistically, before you even hitch up your ski or before you head down to the launch, you want to do a pre-ride inspection. That's realistically just making sure that you have everything you need for the ride. You have your docking lines, you have your safety kit, your fire extinguisher, blah blah blah. If you're very new to riding and you just got your ski, you probably don't have that stuff. It does not come with it. You want to make sure you have everything you need there. But we're also going to do a functional test, and we're going to pull off the seats to give it a whiff, make sure we don't smell any fumes, things like that. You should be doing a full check once in a while just to make sure, or hose clamps, things like that, everything looks good, you're not leaking any coolant. I know for a fact that my ski is perfectly fine. I'm very meticulous with maintenance, so I'm just going to do the quick fume check. And for me, I can even smell through the access cover here. I have a vent pylon instead of the standard cover that I use for additional ventilation. I don't smell any fumes, but same thing. You want to take the seat off, make sure that there's no fuel spills. You'll get a very strong odor if there is, but I know for a fact mine is not, so I'm good to go there. And then of course we also want to start the ski just to make sure that it starts up. We're not running out with a dead battery the second we get to the ramp, and of course we want to make sure everything runs. Again, I know mine does, so I'm not going to show that part in the video, but if you are taking your ski out by yourself, absolutely you want to make sure that it fires up before you head down to the ramp. Other than that, we just want to make sure that we have our straps on and make sure they're tight. We're good to go there. We don't have to worry about the drain plugs or anything yet, so rear straps are good. And we also want to make sure our bow strap is also nice and tight. That is cranked. It's not going to go anywhere. So we are good to go here. Now the next step is to just hitch it up to the truck. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so if you're doing this yourself and you have a heavy trailer, obviously you would want to lift the trailer and then back up your truck or vehicle until your ball hitch is under, and then you can lower the trailer on. This is a dual trailer, but it's fairly light, so I'm just going to lift it onto the ball hitch and then we'll get it all strapped in. Okay, we can go ahead and close that. Now most of the time you're going to have some kind of safety pin or whatever just to make sure that this does not open on you when you're driving on the road and your trailer comes off. I have a lock one here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and take our chains. We're going to cross these underneath and then strap them to the car. And of course all we have left is our trailer connection for our lights. Once you have your trailer connection connected, you want to go ahead and do a functional test. You could just realistically put the turn signals on your car or truck and make sure that you have two lights lit up on the back. Mine are not. Again, I test it every single time I go out. I know for a fact it's perfectly fine, so I'm not going to do that, but you definitely want to check that, especially if you're going to be driving a distance. Next order of business is to get gas. Now, I have half a tank right here. A lot of new riders aren't quite sure what the fuel burn is on these jet skis. They feel like they can fill the tank and then they'll be good for a few weeks. That's not the case. You absolutely want to fill these things every time you go out because they do burn gas at quite a rate. This ski in particular will burn around 27, 28 gallons per hour at full throttle. If you have a non-supercharged ski like a GTI 170, you're probably going to be burning around 18 gallons per hour or so at full throttle. So you will absolutely burn through a full tank in a few hours or less. You definitely want to go out with a full tank of gas. So we're all strapped in. I checked everything. We're going to head down to the gas station. In this case, my ski is tuned for 93, so that's the octane I'm going to use. Should be around $40 or $50, I believe. As you're pulling up to the marina, it helps if you know what the marina layout is, because every marina, or most marinas, should have a dedicated launch prep lane, which is where you're going to take off your straps and things like that, without actually taking up space in the launch for people that are ready to go. So in this case, I'm going to take you around this marina so you can see. This is all ramp member parking, so when you launch your boat, this is where you'll park. But you'll see those spots up here where I'm about to pull in. These are the prep lanes. So you can see trailer parking only. This is your staging area. So I'm going to pull up, and this is where we are going to get the skis ready. We're going to take off the rear straps, get the sunscreen on, whatever we need to do. You could take your time here. I don't know why that guy is parked there. It's not a parking spot, but you know, there's always going to be people that don't really know what they're doing down here. So I'm going to go ahead and get out, get staged, and then we'll get ready to launch. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the back side of the ski. We'll go ahead and put in our drain plugs, both sides. This is a dual drain plug ski. Some of the smaller ones and older ones, like the SeaDoo Spark, only have one, but this one has two. And then we can go ahead and take off our transoms tie downs as well. I have self-ratcheting ones here. Okay, so we are all set back here. We are not going to take off the front tie down yet. We need to keep this on for when we back down to the ramp. So the next thing I'm going to do is get my bumpers ready. I have the snap-in bumpers, the fenders, and I'm also going to get my docking line ready so that it makes more sense. One last tip I want to give you guys for when you launch. It helps if you know which way the tide is going. In this case, I have a tide tracker on my watch. I know you can't see it, but it says high tide was about maybe half an hour ago, and the tide is starting to go out now. So when the tide is going out at this marina, the tide is going that way. So when I back my ski out to dock it, I'm going to try to stay on a dock on the right hand side because the current is going to pull my ski that way. If you try to tie up on a dock on the opposite side where the tide is going against or from, then it's going to pull your ski away from the dock. It's doable, it's just a little bit more complicated. I always just try to keep it simple. So if the tide's going this way, I'll dock on the right side. If the tide's coming in, I'll dock on that side. That way my ski is always going where the tide is pushing. Okay, got both fenders in, so we're good to go. And I have my docking rope, that way I don't have to fumble around with it inside. I just keep it on a quick latch right here, so they're super easy to get to. So we are all set here. We are ready to launch. I'm gonna go ahead and stage the camera so you can watch the whole backup process. Now that we have the ski in the water, I want to show you basically how far you want to bring it back. So we're at almost high tide right now, and this is a fairly shallow, low incline ramp, which means it doesn't go down. The grading isn't as sharp. So you can see I have the wheel well fenders for the trailer, basically 3 or 4 inches under the water. That's kind of the sweet spot for this ramp. If you're not sure what to do, you basically just want to get the fenders just under the water line, and that's a fairly safe bet. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and take off the bow strap. With the strap off, we have the key in, start, and then we can just back the ski up. And I'm going to go right back to that dock back there. So I'll show you that process. There we go. Now we can just go ahead and put the strap on and we're all set. Now that we have the ski docked, we just have to pull the truck out and go park it. Perfect. All we need to do now is go ahead and pull our rope, give ourselves a little push off, and then we get to start the engine and head out. Once I get clear of the loading area, I'll go ahead and take off the fenders and tuck away our rope. If you're ever not sure how choppy it's going to be, all you need to do is look up the wind. In today's case, it is 12-mile-an-hour winds, so it's going to be pretty choppy out there. You can actually see it, the choppiness here. Not sure how well that comes up on camera, but generally in the channel, it's very, very smooth. It's almost like mirror-like. So the fact that we're getting 12-mile-an-hour winds and it's choppy in the channel means it's probably going to be pretty rough out in the main river today. It is very choppy out today. It's never usually like this. This almost looks like we just had a storm, but we haven't. So I think what I'm going to do today is, I'm not going to go too far of a ride, but there is an island somewhere out there. So I'm going to beach my ski there. Now the island is mostly sand, but there is some rock patches. So I'm going to avoid the spots where there's rocks. That way I can actually beach my SeaDoo. Now this has the acrylic hull, it's the ST3 hull, so I definitely will never beach on rocks. But if it's on sand, it's not a big deal. I've done it for years. You never really cause any damage that way. If we are going to be landing on a rocky area, then I have a spike anchor that I can drive in just so I can keep the ski in about 2-3 feet of water. But in our case, I know we're going to hit some sand, so I'll just be able to beach it up on the sand and we'll hang out for a little while. Here we are on the island. I still can't believe how choppy it is. But beached up, nice, easy sand, no rocks or anything. I'm gonna set up my chair in a minute, but I got my solar panel set up, charging my phone there. But there's nobody out here today, just me. So have a nice little relaxing stay out here, and then I'll go back out to ride. And here we go. This is my setup for a little while. Jet skis beached. Solar panel, charging my phone, got myself a nice seat here, and I could just sit back and relax for a little while. Commodore Barry Bridge down there, Bellwing where we just were, down there they're still doing the helicopter test. I had to end up using my spike anchor because it was so choppy, the ski was just kind of bouncing up on the beach, but I can't believe how windy it is. Alright, been out here for maybe an hour, hour and a half, so time to pack it up. Got everything set here. I do have the anchor in for the ski. I just got to pull it up and then we can bounce out. So we'll get ready here, then we'll head back down to the dock. Here's our spike anchor. Now, since I beached, I'm going to follow the 3 feet rule. We want to be at about 3 feet of water before we want to jump on the ski. So I'm going to walk it out because we definitely do not want to suck anything into the jet pump. Alright, that should be pretty much good. Now, since I was on the beach, we'll give it a shake back and forth just to get any sand or rocks that may have set inside the intake grate. Start it up. And we'll get away from the shoreline. So as we're approaching the dock, we just go past the bridge in this case. We want to make sure we have the fenders or whatever we're going to be using before we get to the dock, because especially, if it's a busy dock or whatever, especially when you're dealing with the tides, you don't want to have to fumble with your docking system and whatever you have going on. So I'm going to put my fenders on before I get to the dock, and then I'm also going to have my docking line just wrapped around the steering. That when I pull up, I just kind of latch it onto a cleat and then I'm good to go. Now remember, in my case, the tide is coming out, it's going this way. So The docks up there are lined up basically here and here. So I'm gonna stay on the left side dock because that's where the tide is pulling. So when I line up to the dock, the current's gonna pull me into the dock instead of away from it. It just makes it so much easier to dock these things. Just like that, nice and easy. And same thing when we're backing the trailer down, we want to get the fender wells from the trailer basically just below the water line. If we go too deep, the ski is just going to kind of float around and won't actually sit on the bunks. Let's push ourselves off, start up, and we'll head to the trailer. There we go, that's it. Of course, before we pull the ski out, we want to go ahead and reattach the bow strap. We'll let some length out there, get it attached, pull, and then tighten it. Now that we're back and pulled out, we just want to make sure that our bow strap is tight and the front of our ski is resting on the roller. We can of course put our bumpers and stuff like that back, but more importantly, we want to make sure that we pull out our drain plugs. These should basically always be out when the ski is out of the water. Let that drain, and we'll go ahead and put our straps down. In this case, I have the self-ratcheting one, so let's do a couple pulls on that, make sure that's nice and tight. So I'm going to do that to the other side. But that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. It's very easy to launch and ride these things on your own. I know for a lot of people it's kind of nerve-wracking the first time you go out, especially if you are at a busy ramp. This is a Thursday around noon or so, so there's basically nobody down here, but on a weekend it does get busy. So if you're new to this and you're going to be launching for your first time by yourself, I highly recommend doing it on a non-busy day so you can get used to backing things up, backing the trailer in on your own, and not have to worry about 15 people honking to, you know, get out of their way and such. But it's not bad at all. If you guys are new to it, you will enjoy it. If you have any questions, of course, just leave a comment and I will get back to you.